Everyday superpower. We talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Bada bing, bada bum. I got more powerful information here for you. You need to listen all the way to the end. I mean, it comes without saying if you want to learn how to read people through their nonverbal communication, if you want to get fantastic in the dating circuit, if you want to get fantastic doing business, if you want to get fantastic doing anything and everything you've ever wanted to do in life, you need to pay attention. Right, let's jump straight into it. Very important lesson here today, and I'm going to tell you about stuff you feel when you engage with people anyway, but you just don't understand where this stems from. So, I got this idea from a quite a niche video I did at the start of this channel. It was in regards to why do we feel uncomfortable passing strangers in the street, right? And I thought, you know what, we'll take that concept and we'll talk about it in a dating context. We'll talk about it in a generalized, communication context. As far as my subscribers are concerned, I deal primarily with men, right? So I speak from a man's perspective, as I am a man, and my body reacts to things like a man, feels things like a man. But I do understand the woman's side of things, just not to the degree where I see not through the extent that I don't experience the world as a woman. So I can still talk to the women, but generally speaking, I tend to speak to men. So this is going to be quite heavy as far as the separation between men and women, but this is going to be really good and really interesting as far as dating and communication is concerned. So what we got before you is two people standing head to head. I'm going to talk to you about standing before someone fully frontal, right? If not a little bit ajar. So what you have before you is a man and a woman. This is incredibly intimate. This is a good space to be in if you are interested in each other, right? This is essentially where you need to end up prior to engaging in physical contact. It's great to be fully frontal with each other because it's an incredibly uncomfortable position to be in with people. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. Now, before we get into the man and the woman, I'm just going to say, if this was two men standing front to front, right, that's going to be aggressive. It's the complete counter opposite. Is it intimate? Yes. But is it aggressive? Yes. Is it volatile? Yes. Okay? The only way two men are going to be facing like this is if there's something incredibly important that needs to be spoken about that nobody else is allowed in. That's the only way men are going to engage in this without feeling some level of discomfort. But when it comes to man and women, this is an incredibly intimate and seductive place to be. Okay? So, what we see is exposure of the chest and the stomach, right? I mean, even if they had their arms crossed and they had this defensive barrier up, that does need removing, yes, but still, it's better for them to be it's better for you, let's speak on you, it's better for you to be fully frontal with this individual, or at least find comfort with you both being fully frontal than being defensive and a little bit ajar, a little bit slanted on either edge, right? Complete, dead set ahead is the best place to be. Both of your feet will be pointing towards each other, right? In a perfect world, it seems so in this image. I'm just assuming that would be the case. And what that does is that creates a shut-off from any outsider people, right? People who want to come and communicate with you are going to have a harder time getting into that conversation. Yeah. Have you ever felt like you're the third wheel because two people are engaging in conversation and you're just sort of stood on the outskirts and you're thinking this feels uncomfortable? So unconsciously, it creates a symbol that other people will perceive as I'm not going to go and speak to them too because it seems like they're, heavily engaged in their own conversation that I'm not a part of. I'm not going to be a part of that. And I don't want to be outcasted from my tribe or embarrassed by going over and attempting to infiltrate that conversation, right? Unless someone's, not very socially aware. People will still try, but if these two people don't move when that third party joins, it's a problem. But sometimes it can form a triangle, right? And that's, everyone's involved in that case. So the chest and the torso is exposed to one another. This is important because that shows that you're not threatening each other. In particular, that woman is showing, I'm not threatened by the man, right? And you might think, oh, well, as a man, I want to dominate that woman. I thought women like dominant men and so forth. Yeah, I get you, but not to the degree where they're scared of you, not when they're, in fear of physical attack and aggression. That's like the most anti-seductive thing on planet Earth. So she's not scared. She's exposing her midsection, such as the man is. And as we've spoken of in earlier videos, this links down into our evolutionary biology. And even if you don't believe in evolutionary biology, right, you don't have to. The bottom line is we've got our internal organs all the way up and down here. If we get poked here, with something sharp, we might die. We do our best to conceal these areas when we're in the face of a threat, whether we're freezing, whether we're fleeing, whether we're fighting. It's in our best interest to not expose this area of our body because, of the fatality rate or the mortality rate. You tell me what the right word is. I don't care. So that's the reality behind it. Now go on down the body. You'll see the groinal area is facing each other, right? All you need to do is push that man a little bit and he might as well be inside of that woman, you see? Both of the hips are aligned. This is possibly the most important element of this fully frontal position. You could be in the office with your boss who's a woman. Yeah, you're facing her like this. It doesn't matter what environment you are. It's incredibly sexual because maybe outside of your awareness, you've got both of your hips aligned. They're not disconnected, right? They're aligned and ready to go. There's an important message I've got to tell you, which I'll do in another video, and that is perceive all of these nonverbal behaviors, perceive this body language as if you're wearing no clothes, and then it'll all make a lot more sense. Imagine these people aren't wearing clothes and it'll make more sense. When that woman picks up her pen in front of you and bends over and exposes herself, do you think, was that a sign? Think, if she had no clothes on, would she be exposing herself to you? Yes, she would do, right? So then it makes more sense when you perceive it as such. Don't be silly. We just happened to put clothes on for whatever particular reason. Adam and Eve, realized, oh shit, I've just eaten from the tree of knowledge and now I can acknowledge the fact that we're naked and now we have to wear clothes for some reason and blah, 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 blah. And then we fucked the game up. So look at this from the man-to-man perspective. If you're speaking to your boss, you don't want to stand head-to-head with him like this because think about what we're talking about head-to-head. That's competitive in nature. We utilize that term when it comes to sporting activities and competition. They're head-to-head with each other, right? You don't want to be head-to-head. You want to be slightly ajar. I had an issue with one guy one time, and I went over to speak to him. I didn't want nobody else engaging in the conversation. I was deadly serious about what I had to say. We engaged head-to-head, man-to-man, right? Not man-to-man-to-man with another third party. No, it has to be me and you, eye-to-eye. There's an aggression behind that. There's a volatility behind that, right? So when it comes to men, it's completely different. When you're sitting at a table, yeah, you go to a restaurant and you're sitting in a table, it's incredibly triggering to sit directly before another person. Do the best of your capabilities in job interviews and so forth to just slightly jar your chair to one side or sit on the edge of a table as opposed to directly frontal. It's not going to work well with men. With women, yes. Because then you're going to start playing footsie and then you're going to start engaging. You know what I mean? It's going to actually establish a bond between man and woman. But between man and man, it's not right. In the video that influenced this video, I spoke on why we feel awkward passing strangers on the street. It's because you don't know how that person is. And you're passing them with your front exposed, right? Well, not necessarily directly head to head, although it could be before you decide what way you're going to, negotiate to walk around each other. Up until that point, it raises and triggers your, threat response. You think, oh shit, I don't know who this person is. I've got my internal organs on show. This should just be another day in the life. Why have I not got used to this? And it's because your hardwiring is telling you, survive, 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 survive. Get past this potentially life-threatening situation. Even though you're just walking past someone in the street. This is game I'm giving you right here. You need to utilize this and manipulate this to your power and your benefit when you're engaging with people or want to put your best foot forward, right? This is the truth of how things are. So when you're with that woman, you might slowly play a game as to where you're playing cat and mouse, yeah? You're a little bit ajar with her, and then you might slowly over time ease in in a, symbolic showcase of the degree of your intimacy. 80, 81, 82, 85, 90, 100% engaged. This is how it works. This is how it works. This is how it works. If you're not facing each other frontally, let's say you're sitting next to someone and you're interested in her and she's interested in you, you might slowly start going from 50%, we're both looking forward, 50%, 51, 55, 60, 75, and we're speaking to each other at a 75% degree, and then we want to eventually get to a fully frontal, eye-to-eye, just us, nothing to do with the world situation. I'm putting you on game. And what more do I need to say? I'm signing out on that one. Click like and subscribe. I'm uploading regular. Peace.